Okay, in today's video, I am going to go over how to take a boring and generic drum loop that sounds like this and make it sound something like this. All right, let's check it out. So I just have a drum loop today. It's pretty boring. It sounds like this. And you do not have to program this with MIDI. You can just use a loop. I do suggest, no matter how you do it, it's probably a good idea to keep your kick separate just in case you don't want the repeater on the kick. It won't matter too much for getting the concept down, but if you do want to set it up the way that I have it, the way that I do this is I have an empty pad here on C1 and it is labeled kick, and then in this kick patch here I have a note receiver receiving all of the notes from the drum machine. For whatever reason, a lot of times I cannot select the actual chain. Yeah, see here, it only gives me the snare, so I am then using the note filter to keep only C1, which is the kick, so that if I play this loop, you'll see I'm receiving the MIDI here, it's going to this V8 kick, and that's how that's working. So over here, I am going to put in an effects grid, which for the time being will not do anything. And what I want to do is have a recorder here that'll take an incoming note. Well, it'll take all of the incoming audio and then it will play it when it is triggered. So I'm going to get some triggers here. Where are they? Gates, rather. I believe these need to be set to trigger. I'm going to double this. In fact, they should both be set to 16. And let me just label these so that I can keep track. So the top one will be record, bottom one will be playback. So this red circle here, that's for the record. So I'm going to take the gate outs here, and you can see each time a trigger is happening up here that the record head is now moving. That's the red dot. And then I will bring the playback trigger to the play button here. And now you can see they're moving together because they're getting the exact same gate sequence. So for the time being, I'm just going to set it on all of them. So when I first did this, I realized I put the FX grid in the drum machine. That is not what I want. I want it on the drum group here. So, okay, back in here, I have selected just the downbeat, so that'll get the kick drum, and we should get 16 repeats of it. These both need to be set to trigger, by the way. So there is this problem here. Let me just put in a transport playing here and a select so that it doesn't keep playing after I hit the stop. All right, so you'll hear that it is not playing back the first beat. It's stopping each time, right? So to mitigate that, I'm going to get another select in here and attach it to the one that the recorder is coming from. I'm going to move the recorder to the second input, and I am going to, sorry, I'm going to keep that on the first input, put the audio in on the second input. Now I'm going to assign this record trigger here to the select. So now we should hear all 16 notes, all 16 16th notes. Okay, good. And that is a fine place to start. And I also want to be able to select different playback speeds, right? So what I'm going to do here is line these up. And I'm going to put this over here so I have a little bit of space. And let's see, I'll label them later. I'm going to duplicate this so that I have 4 of them. Let's get an expanded view here. All right, and I'm going to copy these over again, drag and hold Option. So each of these I want to play back at different speeds, and I'll do quarter. So I'm going to set this one to 4. I don't know if that'll be useful. Set this one to 1/8. This one I'll leave as 16th. And this one I am going to make 30-second notes. So probably for the record triggers, I'll want to match them up as well. So what was this? 4, 8, 16 is correct, and 32. So now any one of these will play back differently. This one that I have selected currently will do quarter notes. This one will do 1/8 notes. Okay. So I want also the option to be able to select between all of these. So I'm going to grab a merge, set it to 4, and I'm going to set it to nearest, because if it's set to linear, it can blend the inputs, which we're not going to want. Oh, and let me just go ahead and label these as well, even though it is somewhat obvious by looking at the gates. Okay, this one is quarter, 1/8, 16th, and 32nd. So I am going to, before I attach this, another thing that I want to do, just in case it becomes necessary at any point, is put an ADSR onto all of these in case we get any weird clicks or anything like that. I should have set the attack on all of them to 0 to start, but I did not. That's okay. So the ADSRs, they should all, I should have done this before I duplicated everything, but I forgot. They're going to all receive their gate inputs from the playback of the respective module. All right, that's good. Now I am going to connect these in ascending order of speed here. Oops, that goes there. This goes here now. Okay. And now this is going to go to the playback, the repeater input here. Just for a little demonstration, I'm going to throw a value here. And let me just label this again as repeat select. All right, so if I and this, I need to make sure all the gates are selected. Not that that isn't cool, but for the purposes of this one, I just want to repeat them on every single subdivision. So that is working correctly. I am going to grab this and duplicate it over here. And this is going to be called, I don't know. I'll just call it gate select. Maybe there's a better name for it, but that's what I'm going to call it for now. This value here will select this as well. And what I'm going to do with this one is take the record playback triggers from all of these and send them here. Again, in ascending order of speed. And now this is going to go here. All right. So that it's triggering the audio playback relative to when this particular repeater is recording. Okay. So let's just check this out. It shouldn't be too much different, actually. Okay, so now that is working properly. And I'm probably not going to want to just select the downbeat each time, right? So maybe for the quarter, I'll select snares. Why not? I think they're hitting on the 2 and 4. And I don't know, I'm just going to select some random ones here. This is just a kind of play around and see what sounds good kind of situation. So now I've got different parts of the beat getting triggered, right? All right, good deal. But I don't want the repeater on all of the time, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do is take yet another select in here. And this, I am going to give a button, put that into the trigger, and I am going to call it repeater. And now this is our repeater audio here, right? Into this select in. So instead of going here, I'm going to send it to the second input of that one. And I'm going to take again the original audio signal from the audio in and put it in the first input. And then I'm going to replace this input here with this second with this select in, right? So now I should just be getting the basic beat. And anytime I hit that button, I will then get the repeat sequence. All right. So that is basically it for the basic setup. Obviously, you'll want to play around with where you're choosing your triggers and so on. Maybe you're going to need to play around with the envelopes to get rid of any clicks or shorten the sounds coming out if you need to. And now I would like a way to be able to control these. So you can do any number of things. You can assign these to, for example, steps, right? Okay, let me minimize that now. And say make this eighth notes and make it 19 steps and assign this to the value and maybe add a button here as well. Call it repeater. And in the grid here, then assign this, click on the blue arrow, assign this to the repeater button in the grid. And click that on and off. Come back. For some reason, I can't get an automation lane for this. Oh, it's because I'm in the wrong place. All right, so in the drums, right, repeater, you can open up this automation clip here, make it 4 bars long, and just turn it on sometimes. I don't know how this is going to sound, maybe weird. But let's see how this is doing. All right, so that's one option for controlling it. Another one, which you can do manually, might be a little bit cooler, is I'm going to turn these both off and add select 4 here. And open up the grid again, go back here to my value, and leave the first one empty. Let's see here, actually, let me undo that. Right there, 37%-ish is where it selects the second input. So that should do fine. Third input is 60. and the fourth, well, that can just be 100, of course. All right. So now, let's make sure this is working. I need my repeater to be on. Cool. So then what I would do is right click and map to controller or key, and then I'm just going to move a fader on my MIDI controller. You'll want to use a knob or a fader so that you can get a smooth transition here. So now it's assigned and all right. And of course, at this point, I'm going to want this to be able to trigger this manually as well. So I'm going to add another button here and assign this as well to the repeater. And I'll call this manual. And I'm going to right click this as well, map to controller or key, and I'm going to push a button. So now I am in latch mode, which you'll want to do because you probably want this to turn off automatically rather than have to hit it twice. So when I'm picking my finger up, it just turns off. So now I can push the repeater button to get the repeats whenever I want them, and I can choose which playback speed with my other hand on the fader. So let's see how that sounds. Okay, that was, not super exciting, but works just fine. And one last thing I'd like to throw in here is it can be kind of cool to add in backwards notes as well. So what I'll do for this is I'm going to copy my drum machine pattern here. And I am going to click on the, well, let me actually bring this out here. I think sometimes it doesn't work properly. I'm going to click on the drum group master here, hit Command B. So I'm doing this on the master clip because, again, my kick is in a separate channel, and if I just bounce the drum machine, I won't have the kick. So now over here, here's how this sounds. So I've got everything. That's good. I am going to now reverse this. All right, so I'm back with just a quick interruption here. I realized when I was editing the video that I probably made a little bit of a mistake here. It does work either way, but I just want to bring it up in case so that you can make the decision about how you want to do this. So if I just reverse this clip, which is what I do in the video, now everything is going to be running backwards to the way that it is in the original drum loop. I don't mean the audio is reversed. I mean the order in which the drum hits are coming is going to now be backwards too. So with the clip running forward here, what I'm going to do is right click and choose slice in place. And I'm going to do this on the beat grid and do it at 16th notes. You could also do this at onsets, but for the sake of speed and simplicity here, I'm just going to do this. So now my track, my drums are sliced at every 16th note. Which you might want to go through and check and see if that sounds good. And then what I'm going to do is sometimes if you just hit reverse, it gets weird. So I'm going to bounce all of these in place by hitting Command B. So now each of these clips is just going to be the individual part there and none of the surrounding areas. And now what I'm going to do is reverse them. So right click again, reverse, and now the hits are reversed, but the sounds are coming in the same order as the as it does in the original loop. And finally, with these highlighted, Command J, now I've got one loop. So from this point, you can just follow along with the remainder of the video with what I'm going to do here. And I'm just going to bring this over here, drop it into the same track with my drum machine, get back over into loop mode, go back into the device, not this one, the drum master, back into the effects grid, open this up and separate it. And I'm going to grab my audio sample. Can't do that apparently. What I'm going to do instead is come down here and add a sampler. Here we go. And now get my audio clip, drop it into the sample. All right, so I want this to play back at the same speed all the time, no problem. But it's going to need a note to make that happen. And what I'll do here is I'm going to go into the drum machine. I'm going to click on my keyboard so that I get all of the notes, not just the ones that I'm using. I'm going to find C3, that's right here. And I'm just going to extend this for the full bar. And I'm going to assign all of these to channel 1. They're already channel 1. Okay, good. I'm going to assign this to channel 2. Now, as it is the drum machine for all of the lower notes, it's just going to ignore that C3 because it is not assigned to a pad, so you don't have to do anything. But I'm going to here grab a note receiver, drop that in. I am going to get the notes incoming from the drum machine. Okay, this is good. But I only want that C3. So I could use the note filter, but I already assigned it to MIDI channel 2, so I'm going to get a channel filter. Okay. And I am going to deselect channel 1 and I'm going to select channel 2. Now I think that I saved this as my default preset to only have channel 1 selected. I think by default in Bitwig it has all of them selected, so you're going to have to deselect everything but channel 2. But the point is, everything should be gray except for channel 2, which should be white. So now let's go in here and push play. So you can see this is playing back now, so that is good. And you could put this in front to catch all of the repeats. I don't want to do that. I just want to have these notes play backwards, but just bear in mind that that's something you could do, but you'd have to make sure that you would add a select in here, and I'll just demonstrate, but I'm not going to set it up this way because I think it could get a little funky. But you could just drop this here, this select in, and take the audio out from the sampler and put it there. But instead, what I will do is go over here and where do I want to select this from? this can select, I think I'd like it to be behind the repeater. So I'll put it here. And now I'm going to assign my reversed sample here. And I'm going to double this button, and I'm going to relabel it as reverse and drop that here. So now when I'm playing back, what I'm going to do also is I'm just going to reactivate these two so that I don't have to use my hands anymore. Okay, and this needs to not have those on. Okay, so now here's the drum loop as it stands, and I can just put reverses in. Pretty cool. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get another button, label it reverse. In the note grid here, I'm going to assign to the reverse button and click on it and open up my automation clip here. And I'm just going to make this one 3 bars long so that it is happening differently each playback. But of course you could, and I would probably recommend that you assign it to the MIDI button as I did before. All right, so let's see how this is sounding. And, you know, at this point, it's just a game of going in here and choosing different playback positions and just seeing what happens. And, you know, changing the steps around if that's what you're doing. You can also, of course, just assign this inside of an automation clip or automation lane. It looks like this is not getting all the way through the loop because it's only 2 bars long. So, and this is more than that. And you can do all kinds of things. So this is going 19 steps now, so it's never going to align perfectly. So it's doing a polymetric sequence, and so is the reverse. You can change it to 16th notes. You can randomize. That's plus minus. You can randomize. You definitely want to make sure that a good amount of these are set to 0, because otherwise it's just going to sound like a glitchy mess, which can be cool if that's what you want. All right, pretty cool. So I'm going to stop here, but in my next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up and do some more glitch effects that can go on top of this to make even more cool sounds. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching, and I hope you enjoy making some glitchy, weird music. Have a beautiful day.